This is the QK65 by Qwerty Keys, which I've been using since September of last year. I have to preface I didn't actually join the group buy for this keyboard, rather I stumbled across this one on eBay looking at custom mechanical keyboards, as one does, so I took the plunge, and I have some thoughts about using this keyboard more or less daily ever since. I built the QK65 over my Twitch channel, and you can follow me there if you'd like, as I try to do most of my keyboard related stuff live. I have to say, my first impression of this keyboard was definitely its weight. It's a heftier board than what I was used to when I first got this. This is a hefty boy. This weighs in about 1.75 kilos after assembly. I originally put the QK65 together with a palm plate, all the foams, K2C Halu stock, as well as GMK Blue Samurais and gaskets arcs, and here's how it sounded. I was genuinely amazed at the sound when I first put it together. It's got this marbly sound to it, and that's particularly because of the foam configuration here. Now I have to preface, this is my first time using a keyboard with a palm plate, and I have to appreciate just how much deeper switches that I've tried sound with a palm plate. I'm used to steel or aluminium plates, and when I used an aluminium plate, I actually preferred cherry black switches with no PE foam, and here's how they sound. Having used the keyboard for so long, I feel that there are some notable pet peeves that I have to mention before I continue. The included ALU V2 stabs aren't great. They remind me of Duroc V2 stabilizers, albeit not as scratchy. I had some ticking issues with my GMK spacebar, but with other PBT sets that I own, that was not an issue at all. I actually recently swapped the ALU stabs out for Stabies, which I have a review on, by the way, if you want to go check that out too. The plate foam in particular is loose at the top, and it does interfere with inserting switches on the row 1. This leads to the switch pins becoming bent more often, and it's just cumbersome to take out the PCB assembly every single time I want to insert switches. And lastly, a minor complaint, but you can see how the case feet have become bowed just from moving the keyboard around my desk. They still serve their purpose, but this is honestly quite a minor complaint, to be fair, because the rest of this video I'm just going to talk about what I like about the keyboard. The overall material design of the case is very minimalist, offering premium quality that very few keyboards in this price point offer. More on that later. The top housing is made from CNC anodized aluminium and is a chamfered side profile, breaking up what otherwise could have been a considerably safe design. The bottom housing is made from cast aluminium, which has this rough texture to it. For whatever reason, my brain just doesn't agree with that at all. Like, touching it, it's weird. Whilst this isn't visible when built, it helps lower the overall cost of the keyboard. The bottom weight is made from PVD coated stainless steel, and I have the chroma variant, something I really wish I had in the stainless steel mirror option. But I still like the way that this reminds me of certain knife skins from certain video games. To talk more about the feel and the sound again, I primarily use linear switches with any keyboard because #lineargang. And I have to say, no matter what switches I used with the board, I like the way that this keyboard sounds. I once did briefly use a set of Frankenswitches where I took Jwick T1 housings and spring and stem swapped them for Neapolitan ice cream switches because I just had them lying around. Take a listen. They sound alright, but I'm not a big fan of long pole tactile switches. It's just too snappy for me. Now, a common take that I've seen regarding this keyboard and a lot of other keyboards from 2022 is that they were being carried by foam. And I like to think that there is valid criticism here. To drive the point home, here's how the QK65 sounds without any foam at all. What I do appreciate about this hobby is that everything comes down to the magic word preference. And for me, the way I've currently configured it with Miss Piggy switches, a palm plate, and these keycaps, and all the foams, just sounds its best in my opinion. I'm still very much a fan of what this keyboard does. When it was in group buy, it started off at a very reasonable price of $149, offering a great level of quality that punches well above its price point. However, I got this keyboard for £210 and I feel my experience feels skewed. I will preface by saying the only other keyboard that I've had that comes close to this price point is the GMMK Pro. This is far better than that by a long shot. The difference being is that this came from a group buy, which I just happened to buy on the market for slightly more than its original cost, versus something that is already available in stock to buy today. Now, I've heard through the grapevine that Qwerty Keys is working on a new iteration of the QK65, but it's going to go by a different name. You can find that information out by going to that Discord, by the way. I'm very much excited to see what Qwerty Keys do with this new design. This video is not by any means a recommendation, but a small glimpse into my experience having used it long term. If you do pick one up, I'm sure you'll enjoy using it just as much as I have. Let me know what you think about the QK65 by sounding off in the comments right below that like button, and make sure you subscribe so that you don't miss out on more keyboard content in the future. Have a fun one.